Hey guys, this is Jody again. This is my weight loss vlog. It's the 8th version of Man versus Diet. Thank you so much for joining. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Salt Lake City. I had to come outside and do this vlog on my deck because the sunshine is just giving my back a warm hug right now. It feels awesome. And this is the view from my deck, so I love it up here. Here, we'll give you a little bit more of a view there, all right? So this wasn't the greatest week. Get the bad news out of the way early. I gained 1 pound this week, and it just seems insane because it feels like I'm eating well, and for the most part I think I am, but I certainly have slipped a bit, and that's really frustrating. Last weekend, as you might have seen with my family vlogs, I took my kids and the 4 kids. We went to a hotel and we had a little adventure, and we had a lot of fun. It was crazy. My kids are insane, but we had a lot of fun. My wife stayed at home, so it was just me. And I thought that I ate well. I bought them candy. I didn't have one piece. And I guess my warped way of thinking, and I do this a lot. I think, well, as long as I'm depriving myself of this certain sweet or, this cake or donuts or French fries or fast food, then I should lose weight automatically just to reward me for that. But it doesn't work that way. You're still eating other food, and I guess that I just ate more than I thought I did, and I need to be more diligent about really tracking how much I'm eating, sticking to my plan better than I had. Sometimes I start to wing it, and I don't stick to the plan that Brandon, the food dude from Team THF, gives me. And whenever I do that, I seem to just kind of start, I don't lose as much weight as quickly, or this week I gained weight even though I thought I should have lost weight. That's, I have to tell you, we came back on Sunday afternoon from our little getaway, and I was feeling good about myself. I thought I'd made a lot of good choices and packed a lot of healthy food for it. I stepped on the scale Monday morning, and I was 4 pounds heavier than I had been the previous week, and I was so frustrated. The towel rack is on the wall in front of my scale, and I punched the towel hanging down really hard. My wife was standing there, and then I turned around and there was a bucket sitting on our tub, and I punched that. Luckily it was empty, and I think I scared the cat and the dog, probably, maybe my kids, but I was so frustrated. I didn't eat any of that candy. We were active, we went swimming, although I was just mostly bobbing up and down in the pool with my kids. But I thought I'd got out and we'd walked, and so to see the weight escalate like that was really frustrating, and it kind of taught me a big lesson. I mean, I was grumpy all day Monday. As much as I preach patience and say, I'm in this for the long haul and I'm just eating healthy, you still want to see results, and you want to see results quickly. And I know 1 or 2 pounds of weight loss a week is what they say they want you to do, but I want to lose 5 to 10 pounds, dang it. And I just didn't this week, and so to see the scale go up 4 pounds was really a disappointing moment for me, and it put me into a tailspin all day. And I'm laughing and smiling now, but it really hurt. And usually when I'm on a diet or a weight loss regimen and I have a day like that, it's so upsetting and so demoralizing that I just want to say, you know what, diet, screw you. I'm going to go eat like a double cheeseburger and French fries and a large strawberry shake, piece of chocolate cake. I'm just going to start pounding the food down. I'll show you. If I'm going to gain weight eating what I consider healthy, then I'm going to go gain weight in style and with food that's really greasy and fattening and sweet and tastes really good. But fortunately, I wasn't that stupid. In fact, I guess I'm going to have to pat myself on the back a little bit. As upset as I was on Monday, we were going to go, it was Memorial Day, so we had a barbecue that we were going to go to. I didn't feel like going to the barbecue, and so I didn't. And my wife and kids went. It was just around the corner. I like all the people that are there. I just didn't feel like going. I didn't feel like being social. And my wife came back, and I guess they ran out of some of the meat and stuff. So she was going to go to a local hamburger joint and get, like a burger and maybe some fries and a shake or whatever. And I was really tempted, and I said, yeah, I'll go with you. But I knew if I went that I would just cave and I would just indulge and kind of binge eat because I was so mad. And so I decided I can't go, and I was still in a grumpy mood, still ticked off that I'd gained the weight. But I told my wife I can't go because I know what will happen if I do go. So I guess that was the moral victory of the week for me, that I had enough strength within myself to recognize what was going on, to know that I was putting my emotions in the wrong spot and that I needed to be strong at that moment so that I wouldn't go backwards even more. And I know that I didn't eat enough to gain 4 pounds. Sometimes your body retains water, you eat too much salt or whatever. And over the next 3 or 4 days, I've dropped 3 of those pounds. And now I'm just 1 pound over where I was last week, which is still disappointing. You want to see a weight loss every single week. And I know that's my fault because I just haven't fully committed yet. I'm doing much better, a lot better. But I'm still not exercising every day. In fact, I haven't been to the gym for over a week now. I did a ton of yard work yesterday and was lifting heavy things and throwing them in big trash bins and walking around my neighborhood to get to those big trash cans. So I feel good about the amount of movement that I had yesterday. And I mowed my lawn. In fact, that was kind of a weird incident on Wednesday night. I mowed my lawn. I once put my Garmin on, and my lawn, while I'm walking to mow my lawn, it's 1.5 miles. But I got about halfway, 2/3 the way through my lawn, and I just started feeling almost like I was getting sick, like I was getting the flu or something. My stomach didn't feel good. You start feeling a little bit weak. Anyway, I just pushed through. It started raining on me. I pushed through. I knew my lawn, because of all the rain and I hadn't mowed it, was about a foot thick in some spots, so it had to be cut. I battled through and I got done. I sat down at my desk and I knew I should have eaten something and I didn't. I was just like so pooped and wiped out that I didn't want to move from my chair. And I started feeling horrible. In fact, I started getting the chills and started shivering. And I laid down on my couch. I got under a couple of big blankets and I was just literally, my teeth were chattering. I was so freezing. It just felt like I had the flu or something. And my kids came home with my wife and they put like 4 more blankets on me. I couldn't get warm at all. And I just thought I'd gotten sick. My son, Ethan, made some chicken noodle soup for me, which was really kind of him. And they were all thoughtful and they were playing nurses and trying to help me as much as they could. And I started feeling better after I slurped some of that hot chicken noodle soup. And then I fell asleep for a couple hours. It was only like 8:30. I go to bed really late, usually like at 12 or 1. And I woke up about 10:30 and I felt better. And then, in fact, I had the sweats. And I looked it up online and read a couple of blogs about it. And I think what happened is that I had depleted my glycogen stores. And, maybe I'd given myself, maybe I was a little bit dehydrated. And so my body was trying to regulate the temperature. This is my guess. My body was trying to regulate the temperature and it was struggling. And so then started shivering and to try to warm it up. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but the next day I felt way better. But I was thinking, how crazy is that? I'm so out of shape that I can't even get through mowing my lawn without feeling like crap. But so basically that was the most exercise I've done in the last week. It was mow my lawn and do some yard work. I haven't lifted weights and I haven't walked, and I know that's so important. I know that eating is the key for losing weight, and lifting weights are more for the fitness part and exercise. So I just need to be recommitted, and I have a plan for doing that. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to really think about it over the weekend. I'm going to do an earlier weight loss vlog next week on Monday. It's a new month, and I'm going to set my goals for the rest of this year. I'm just going to really look at what I want to accomplish. Maybe some weight loss goals too, but I think it'll be a good exercise for me to go through, really set some plans, really set some goals. I'm really looking forward to getting back into doing 5Ks and maybe even a triathlon or something. So I'll talk more about that on Monday after I think about it long and hard over the weekend and come up with a game plan. So you have that to look forward to. Another thing that popped into my mind this week as I was thinking about how frustrated I was on Monday with gaining some weight when I thought I shouldn't have. I cover the Utah Jazz for a newspaper here in Salt Lake City. One of the overriding story arcs of the Utah Jazz this season is they had a new coach, Quinn Snyder, and he wanted to implement a new system. And so he always talked about the results weren't that important right now as far as the wins and losses went. He wanted his team to be process-oriented, meaning do the small things and make sure you're doing all your techniques and you're in the right spots and you're working with your teammates and you're learning to communicate and doing things the way he wanted to do. That was more important than winning to him this year. It was a rebuilding year. And I kind of thought about that. You saw they struggled as a team early on in the season. They were still working on the small parts of the game, the X's and O's, and they knew eventually if they kept doing the right things and got good enough at doing them over and over and over, just doing the basics, eventually success would start coming. And that's exactly what happened in the second half of the season. All that time that they spent working on those small little strategies and being in the right spots and working together, it all came together and they started winning and they played really well. And I thought about that, comparing it to my diet. I want the results now, but it's more important for me to stop worrying about what the scale says and to start really focusing on eating properly. For me, that's eating 6 or 7 small meals a day, getting a lot of vegetables in, following my game plan, not freelancing, not trying to be the ball hog and do it on my own and win the game by myself. I need to follow my coach's plan and just keep on doing that. And with consistency and persistence, eventually those results will start happening. And I've seen some results, and that's really encouraging. And the Jazz did too. They saw some wins early on and had some big performances. And those are fun, and those kind of motivate you a little bit. But it's more important to build those habits and just to keep on keeping on. Just keep moving forward. Even if you're not seeing the 5-pound, 10-pound losses per week, just keep going on. And so that's what I'm really going to try to focus on right now, just be process-oriented. I hear these Jazz officials say those words so often. Be process-oriented. Don't skip any steps. And eventually the success will happen. And I think that's a really wise strategy. And so kudos to you, Jazz. I want to be a championship contender as well in my personal life. So I think I'm going to take that advice and just really be process-oriented and stop worrying so much about the results. Of course, I'm still going to weigh myself 10 times a day probably, and I know I need to stop doing that, but I think I'm just going to shift my attitude a little bit. Yesterday, my wife said, gosh, you're sure in a lot better mood than you were earlier this week, and I am. I got through the rough day. I made that good choice to not go to the fast food. And, it's those small victories, even in times that you're struggling, they really can make a difference. And so I have that in my pocket where I can say, hey, you have that victory. You had the power to say no to some really good, greasy food that would have been awesome to taste. But then an hour later, I would have regretted it. So, yay, Jody. That's my bragging moment for the week. Thanks for tuning in, and come back on Monday when I give you my game plan for the rest of 2015. I think it's going to be fun. Before I finish, I would like to ask you guys a question. How do you guys get through those rough days where you're just not finding the motivation to get exercising, go to the gym, step on the treadmill? What are some of your techniques or some of the things that you've done? Because I obviously need a little bit of help right now. Leave a message down below in the comments. Please give my post a thumbs up. It would really make me happy. And subscribe if you haven't. That would be awesome too.